But once upon a time, in a sun-dappled corner of the Whispering Woods, lived a little bunny named Benny. Benny had the fluffiest white tail you ever did see, twitchy ears that could hear a leaf fall from a mile away, and a nose that wiggled with curiosity. But Benny had a secret, a big, heavy, rock-sized secret. While all the other bunnies in the woods bouncy, Bonnie and Bartholomew loved to leap and bound over the giant mossy rocks that dotted the landscape. Benny was afraid. Every morning, the other bunnies would gather at the edge of the sunny meadow, their eyes sparkling with excitement. "Let's race to the grand oak tree," Bouncy would shout. The path to the grand oak was filled with challenges, the biggest of which was the Great Grey Rock, a boulder as tall as a badger and as wide as a fallen log. One by one, Bouncy, Bonnie, and Bartholomew would take a running start, their powerful hind legs launching them into the air, sailing gracefully over the rock to land softly on the other side. But not Benny. He would hop to the edge of the rock, his little heart thumping like a drum. He'd look up at its towering height. His paws would feel wobbly and his ears would droop. "It's too high," he'd whisper to himself. "What if I don't make it? What if I fall?" And so, while his friends cheered from the other side, Benny would take the long way around, a winding, slow path through the prickly bramble bushes. He'd arrive long after everyone else, his fur snagged and his spirits low, missing out on all the fun. One sunny afternoon, as Benny was sadly nibbling on a clover, watching his friends play their jumping games, a wise old owl named Professor Hoot landed on a branch above him. Professor Hoot had seen Benny take the long way around many times. Ahem, he hooted softly. "A fine day, isn't it, young Benny? Though you don't look like you're having a fine time." Benny's ears drooped even lower. "Oh, Professor Hoot," he sighed. "I want to play with my friends, but I'm scared of the big rocks. They're just so big." Professor Hoot blinked his large, round eyes. "Fear is a funny thing, Benny. It often makes things look much bigger and scarier than they really are. Tell me, have you ever truly tried to jump the rock?" Benny shook his head. "I'm too scared to even try." "I see," said the owl thoughtfully. "Perhaps you're just looking at it the wrong way. A great challenge is just a collection of small steps. Why not start with something a little smaller?" He gestured with his wing towards a small, flat stone no bigger than Benny's own paw. "Try that one." Benny looked at the tiny stone. It wasn't scary at all. He took a little hop and sailed right over it. "I did it," he squeaked, surprised at himself. "Excellent." Professor Hoot hooted. "Now, how about that one?" He pointed to a slightly larger, rounder pebble. Benny hesitated for a moment, then remembered his easy hop over the first stone. He took a slightly bigger hop and landed perfectly. He felt a tiny spark of something new inside him, a little flicker of confidence. Just then, his friends Bouncy, Bonnie, and Bartholomew hopped over. They had seen Benny talking to the owl. "What are you doing, Benny?" asked Bonnie, her nose twitching. "Professor Professor Hoot is teaching me how to jump, Benny said, his voice a little stronger than before. We can help, chirped Bouncy. Jumping is all about believing in your legs. They're stronger than you think. And added Bartholomew, who was the most thoughtful of the trio, it's okay to be scared. We all are. Sometimes the secret is to try anyway, and know your friends are here to cheer you on. Their words warmed Benny's heart. He looked at his friends, then at Professor Hoot, and finally at a rock that was about half the size of the Great Grey Rock. It was still big, but it didn't seem quite as impossible as before. Okay, Benny said, taking a deep breath. I'll try a bigger one. Bouncy showed him how to get a good running start. Wiggle your tail for balance, she advised. Bonnie stood on the other side of the rock. You can do it, Benny. I'm right here, she called out. Bartholomew found a patch of soft moss for Benny to aim for. Even if you tumble, you'll have a soft landing, he assured him. Benny backed up. He looked at the rock, but then he looked past it, at his friends' smiling faces. He thought about the little stone he had jumped so easily. He took a deep breath, wiggled his tail, and ran. He pushed off the ground with all his might. For a second, he was flying. His paws tucked under him, his ears streamed behind him, and then, thump. He landed safely on the soft moss, right next to Bonnie. He'd done it. He'd jumped a big rock. Bouncy Bonnie and Bartholomew cheered and did happy hops all around him. Benny felt a thrill of excitement rush through him. It wasn't scary at all. It was amazing. The world looked different from up there, even for just a moment. All afternoon they practiced. Benny started with the medium rocks, and with each successful jump, his fear shrank and his confidence grew. He learned to trust his strong legs and to focus on the landing, not on the fear of falling. His friends were with him every step of the way, offering tips and encouragement. They made a game of it, finding rocks of all different shapes and sizes to conquer together. Finally, the moment came. They all stood before the Great Grey Rock. It still looked huge, but it no longer looked impossible. It looked like a challenge, an adventure waiting to happen. Benny looked at his friends. They all nodded at him, their eyes full of trust. "You're ready, Benny," whispered Bartholomew. Benny took a longer running start than he ever had before. He pumped his legs faster and faster. He pictured himself soaring through the air, landing safely on the other side. He didn't think about falling. He thought about flying. He leaped. For a glorious moment, Benny was airborne, soaring over the Great Grey Rock. He saw the whole meadow spread out beneath him. He saw the grand oak tree in the distance. He felt the wind in his ears. It was the most wonderful feeling in the world. He landed on the other side with a soft bounce, his heart not thumping with fear, but with pure joy and pride. His friends erupted in the loudest cheers yet. They crowded around him, patting his back and telling him how brave he was. From that day on, Benny was no longer afraid of the big rocks. In fact, he became one of the best jumpers in the Whispering Woods. He discovered that the things that scare us the most often lead to the greatest adventures. And more importantly, he learned that with a little bit of courage and a lot of help from good friends, there's no obstacle too big to overcome. He still took the long way around sometimes, but now it was by choice, just to enjoy the smell of the flowers in the bramble patch. Because now Benny knew he could choose his own path, whether it was the easy way, the long way, or the brave way, right over the top. Thank you so much for joining us for Benny's brave adventure today. We hope his story inspires you to face your own big rocks. If you enjoyed this story, please give us a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more wonderful tales from the Whispering Woods. We can't wait to see you again next time. Bye for now.